5 years.
And welcome back. President Joe Biden met with his Canadian counterpart today discussing several topics, including migration, manufacturing, and the war in Ukraine. Washington correspondent Basil John reports.
This is President Biden's first trip to Canada since he became president, but the two leaders are building on a long-standing relationship. While meeting in Ottawa Friday, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau,
it's so great to see you, Joe,
and President Joe Biden,
I think we're getting a lot done today,
focused on shared goals, including continued support for Ukraine as Russia continues its brutal war.
Because of our shared prosperity is deeply connected to our shared security.
We must stand shoulder to shoulder with Ukraine with as much as it takes, as long as it takes.
They also discussed the economy and vowed to work together to increase manufacturing across North America.
With growing competition, including from an increasingly assertive China, there's no doubt why it matters that we turn to each other now.
Where Canada and the United States continue to anchor the most competitive, prosperous, and resilient economic region in the world.
The two leaders announced a new plan to stop the flow of asylum seekers at unofficial border crossings by closing a loophole in current laws that allowed thousands of migrants to illegally cross between Canada and the U.S.
Police and border officers will enforce the agreement and return irregular border crossers to the closest port of entry with the United States.
Many Republicans, like New York Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, whose district borders Canada, have sounded the alarm for weeks on problems along the border.
It's clear there is a border security crisis as well along the northern border.
As part of this announcement, Canada has agreed to allow 15,000 more people to migrate legally. Reporting in Washington, I'm Basil John.
Thank you, Basil. Well, new figures out today showing more children in the U.S. are being diagnosed with autism. This comes as another state considers a way for people with autism to mark their vehicles on the road so that law enforcement has a heads up. This morning, controversy over special decals, though, for drivers with autism meant to help keep them safe. Well, the bill would allow drivers on the autism spectrum to add the word autism to their license or their license plate. The decal would be optional, and the goal is to ensure a driver with autism is not deemed a threat if they're stopped by police. Some with autism opposing the idea, saying it's putting them in a box and labeling them. Others saying they support it.
If there's a subtle way to say there's somebody who has a different communication style, there's somebody who has specific medical needs, there's somebody who is medically fragile in the car, that is important information for them to have. But how do we do it discreetly so it's not screaming out to the whole world?
Well, new figures out this week showing the number of children with autism is rising. The CDC recently studied 8-year-olds across the country and found 1 in 36 of those children, or nearly 3%, was diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder. As for the proposal, if approved, the state would join Texas and Louisiana, which already have special license indicators for drivers with autism. All right, switching gears now. Let's head over for another check of the weather as we head into the weekend, Bob.
Yeah, you know, and as heading into the weekend, I'm going to switch gears a lot. Scott Taylor, who always sends us such great pictures, decided to put himself in a picture. And look at this right here, as he has got his drone above him, and he's just doing a little Magna snow angel there. So, Scott, thanks so much for all you do and sending us stuff, and a little thumbs up to you as well. Thank you, Scott. Now, we have good news here, and that, of course, is that on March 24th, that's today, 26.1. You got to love that. The old record was 26 inches, set in 1983, but it was set in April, mid-April. So we are well ahead of the curve. We could get well above that, and we are stacking up snow right now. You can see a couple already over 700. We're getting close on Solitude and Snowbird, but look at some of these. Like if you look at Deer Valley, they are double what their normal is, and if you look at some of the other places, they're all doing well. Sundance barely gets to near 200. They're already 426, so everyone is loving it. We're not going to get much more tonight, a little bit more as we go in. You can see got a little bit of a storm there in the along the Wasatch Mountains there, but if we look around the state, not much going on. Cedar City, a little bit of snow there in the mountains, but the snowfall we got today, incredible. Look at that. Logan with 10 inches, 7.8 in the Bountiful Benches, 6 inches in Orem. It was just great. And if you look at what was going on in the resorts, 20.5, 20.5 inches there in Alta. Snowbird at 17. No wonder they had to interlodge. That's a lot of snow coming down, and, well, going to be continuing a little bit as we go into this weekend. Let's take a look at our future cast. You can see right now there's that blob that we showed. Not much going on, but as we go into the morning, you'll see what happens there. You saw how it just expanded there near the early mornings, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. It'll start picking back up in the mountains, and then we'll see that again through the morning. We're going to have scattered showers through the night until we get to, you guessed it, the morning again. Look at that blob that came through there, and we will see that continue on. Might even see it make it all the way down to Beaver before it closes off there. Scattered showers again into Monday afternoon. We'll get a bit, and then we're going to clear out. Monday, Tuesday looking clear, but look at what's coming. This is a storm system we've got coming in that'll be coming toward us Wednesday, so we're going to be watching that. That'll be our next one. Snow potential from this storm. We still got a few more inches we're going to get out of this. That's great. We'll take every bit we can, and that winter alert is going to stay in place until noon tomorrow. So if we're going to be out in the early morning, watch out, because there's those travel impacts. You're going to want to avoid everything you can in there. It gets pretty bad. That snowpack, though, looking great. 191%. Let's just keep that going, and that sweet record. SWE stands for the snow water equivalent, and we're at 26.1. Loving that. Look at our temperatures, though. They're dropping down. You can see they're a little cool, and that's what we're going to be expecting tomorrow, in the 30s for most of the state. So that cold front that's coming with this storm is going to do some damage with it. And looking at St. George, you're going to see that they're going to drop down this weekend. It's going to be breezy there. They'll pick back up into Tuesday, but then they've got that storminess coming back in Wednesday, Thursday. The story's going to be the same along the Wasatch Front. A very cool weekend with the snow possibilities. Get that little break in there, but then Wednesday, Thursday, that'll be our next system, and we're going to see some more snow coming from that. So just enjoy the weekend while you got it.
Yes, and I guess continue to be grateful that we keep getting these numbers.
Love it.
Leading into a strong spring and summer. All right, thank you so much, Bob. Time